Hey, this is Subspace Transmissions. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Cam.
Cam, we want to talk about what Michael Burnham's job should be next year on Season 2 of Star Trek Discovery because, well, there were a lot of questions about what her job was throughout most of Season 1. Was she a science specialist? Was she first officer? Now she's been recommissioned, and there's a lot of question marks about what's really going on with the captain's seat going forward in Season 2. It also makes me kind of curious about what's going to happen with Burnham as well.
Morale officer.
Just like Neelix, you know?
Yeah.
Could she do her own A Briefing with Burnham episode, just like Neelix did?
That would be amazing. What's the mystery she has to solve?
Mike Jonas is back through time, and he wants to reconstitute the Maquis because he's been really upset about their destruction from the Dominion.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. But okay, so we see her initially on the Shenzhou. She's the XO there, then she's a mutineer, then a science specialist, and now she's back to being a commander. Meanwhile, Saru is the acting captain.
Right.
And they're going to go pick up their, regular captain.
Are they?
Wow.
Are they?
I know. But where does Burnham really fit in on the crew at this point? I got a lot of question marks.
Well, you've raised the issue in the past where having Burnham as your first officer raises the problem in that this character, because the show is directed about her, it's very much following her point of view, she's right a lot of Season 1. She's the one who generally knows the score at all times, and so if you have her as the first officer, is Saru ever right?
No, it's going to be a first officer who is constantly undermining her captain, and not just, in front of people or in the ready room, it's going to be to the audiences. So the audiences are going to be like, wow, this captain's really a dope. Like, why would anybody want to get behind Saru? And it would take, and if Saru is the captain or we get another, random captain character, it really takes away any agency from the captain. So I don't really want Burnham as the XO in that case.
Right, because if you have, even for example, let's take Saru out of the equation. I don't know, Saru's in a coma for an episode.
Okay.
He has his brain stolen. Another famous former science officer. But say, Burnham is in the position of a first officer to a fill-in captain. They bring in the celebrity captain of the week. Are we ever going...
Richard Grieco.
Jellicoe's ancestor, played by Richard Grieco.
Yeah.
Richard Grieco. But, okay, so, now Richard Grieco is calling the shots on this ship, right? And Burnham is like, I disagree. The audience immediately goes, Burnham's right. Yeah. Because we've seen that Burnham is the character who is guiding this story.
Doesn't it make you think of Chain of Command when they introduced, of course, as you said,
Jellicoe?
Jellicoe,
yeah.
And so
you're never like back down, Riker. Jellicoe knows what the score.
Yeah, exactly. So as much as I like Burnham as a character, I think maybe they could be setting things up that would be difficult for us as a viewing audience to get behind the captain. And that's going to be kind of grating. So, but the other thing is, like, look, they've kind of set her up to be in this role. So I think there's either two options. She could either, take the place of the science officer, I suppose.
Sure.
I don't know what that means for one Paul Stamets, because he's kind of a science guy, right?
I guess he could go to engineering. Be
the
chief engineer. He was I think he is the chief engineer. I don't know. It's very confusing.
It's very confusing because there's a screen that said he was chief engineer, but then the writer said no, he's not the chief engineer.
Well, it's weird, like Memory Alpha, which is of course not canon, but they list him as the chief engineer. So I think a lot of fans are just confused in general.
Yes, and I think they haven't made it very clear. But from what I understand from the writers, he's not the chief engineer.
Right.
So
it's kind of like Culber as the doctor. He's not the chief medical officer, but he's the only doctor on the show with any real time.
Up until the season finale, until we saw the other doctor, so who was suddenly able to help solve the murder mystery of Culber. But so it's a situation where Burnham could either be the XO, which I think that's what they want to do with her, or she could be the science officer. I'm not so I don't know what would be the best thing, because the other thing is, and I'm kind of worried about this, is that she's going to be captain by Season 2.
Right.
Which is kind of weird because she was like a mutineer a month ago.
Sure. I mean, I like the idea of her being like a science officer, for example, in that she is someone who could be the best at what she does with her particular speciality.
Yeah.
You know, the captain is looking to her for the correct answers. The captain can still make the right call, but she can be right about the science stuff. And I think that would work well, as opposed to having her as a first officer, where you get more of that clashing heads with the captain.
And I agree with you, but the other problem is like, as a character beat, it's almost like a demotion.
Sure.
And so then it's taken away agency from Burnham.
No, morale officer is a demotion.
Officer, yeah. But it's taken away from her own character growth, her career path, and I think they would argue, well, that's kind of demeaning to who is the main character of the show. So, like, what do you really do in this situation? Like, I'm very fearful it's going to be a no-win situation whenever we land on what Burnham's job is going to be.
Right.
Here's where I'm going to throw things. I think she's going to be the XO, but when, you know, the new season at least gets halfway through, she'll land on, like, a permanent position. It's going to be XO. I just hope that they tread very lightly with what her relationship is going to be with the commanding officer.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be interesting to see her have sort of a Chakotay-like relationship with the new captain, whether it's...
she doesn't speak anymore?
Just fiddles with a control panel the whole time? Yeah. Whether it's Saru or someone else, you know, a fill-in new captain, whoever it is, to have that sort of relationship where they really, like, bond with one another, kind of the way she did with Giorgio, where it's two people that support each other as opposed to someone that she's arguing with, because I don't think you can have her really opposing someone a lot. I don't think you can do, say, like a T'Pol Archer situation.
Right.
Because we're immediately going to side with Burnham, and in this case, Burnham is, you know, lowered on the totem pole than the captain. And so then it's like you have an issue of a captain just being constantly called into question.
And believe me, I don't think the new captain wants it to end the same way that the Giorgio captaincy ended either.
I doubt it.